Hello, good afternoon, and happy October. I literally, as I was prepping for today's forecast, I'm like, how many times this year am I going to start a forecast being like, oh, wow, that was a rough month, hey? Like, how many times? How many times? But yeah, September was a lot, right? Going into September, we talked about September being peak energy for the year for 2021 was a 5 energy month in a 5 energy year. And we felt it. I've been having a lot of conversations with clients and friends and colleagues and, family members and all of that. And the feelings in September were very heavy and very real. And I think I really want to take a minute to kind of reflect on that before we move into what October energy is going to bring, because staying present with what's unfolding for you is critical at this time. I mean, you may have noticed the big sigh I just let out a second ago. And I think, if we can all just like take a second to do that together right now, deep breath in through the nose and then release through the mouth. And this is something I have been doing multiple times per day, every day lately, to keep bringing myself back to myself. And this is something I want to share with you as well. If you can continue to bring yourself back to yourself throughout the challenges that you might be facing, this is going to be the key for you. This is going to be so helpful. If you're catching me live, if you're catching me on the replay, comment, say hi, let me know you're here. Share with me, how did September go for you? How are you feeling? One of the biggest lessons that came out of that for me and for the people I've been working with is, how do we take the time to truly stay with ourselves versus exiting, disassociating, distracting, numbing, and avoiding. As I was preparing for October, it was like there's this energy of, that old expression, the arrow must be pulled back before it can be shot forward. So if you were one of those people who've been feeling some heaviness and feeling like you are just kind of like really feeling it, recognize that this is actually a sign of being willing to be on your path and do your work and not go into avoidance, bypassing, or disassociation. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel it. And it's important because in that work is how we are actually birthing the new opportunity, which is the arrow shooting forward. The capacity that we have to go into the depths of the pain, the grief, the challenge, the struggle, and actually hold ourselves through it. Be willing to face things that seem painful to face. That is directly proportionate to our ability to transmute into where we're going and where we're headed. So if you're one of those people, my heart is with you. My heart is with you. You feeling struggle and challenge at this time is not wrong. It's not wrong. It makes sense. It's actually on path. And I know, in the world we live in, we can get a lot of messages of well, think positive and focus on the high side. And we can do that, right? We can do that. But if you do it without acknowledgement of the difficulty, you are not doing yourself a service, because you're actually creating a very narrow bandwidth of capacity that you get to experience in this life. So by allowing yourself to be held in the pain, you're actually also allowing yourself to access the joy, the bliss, the abundance, the opportunity, the potential that's available for you. I was listening to an audiobook by Wayne Dyer this morning, and one of the quotes that he says in that book really stood out for me as important right now, which is, in the dark, embrace trust that the light will come. In the dark, embrace trust that the light will come. And I think this is so important for us to take time to really feel into. And this is one of the gifts that numerology can share with us, is that everything is cyclical. Everything is a pattern. Nothing is fixed. Nothing will last forever. Everything has its divine timing. Everything has a stage and a process. So we left September in this like peak 5 energy intensity, and we're moving into October, which is a very, very different energy. But there's still a lot of unknowns, right? We are moving into October with a lot of unknown space. This idea of this darkness, of this, it's like you got your eyes closed and you can't see where to go. You're navigating in the unknown, right? You don't have a map in front of you. You don't know if you should be going left or right. You don't know what's in front of you. And whenever we find ourselves in this space of navigating in the unknown, we have one job. And that one job is to continue to come back to our center and to trust our inner guidance system. This is so important in times of major change, major turmoil, major chaos. When we overemphasize the messages externally, we are actually creating this like leakage of our power. And it's like, when stuff's crazy out there, like, come back here. You know, your inner guidance system knows, and it will always point you to where you need to be. If you need support to hear it, then I would love to offer that with you. One of my favorite ways to strengthen my inner knowing and to support others to do the same is through numerology. And I currently have the doors open for my practical numerology certification training program just for a few more days. The doors close on Tuesday. So if this is something that you want to learn how to do for yourself, as well as for your clients or the people in your world, send me a little message. We can hop on a quick call and chat about it. But whatever way you use to get in touch with your inner guidance system, your intuition, how source energy is guiding you is so critical at this time. So take time for that. October is a 6th energy month. It is going to be here to help us smooth out some of the rough edges. It is here with this goal and this desire to create harmonization, to create some balance, and to create some ease. Now, I'm not going to pretend that September was crazy and October is all of a sudden going to be like sunshine and rainbows. I don't think that's going to be the case. Part of the shadow energy of the 6 is recognizing, where have I subtly held my tongue? Where have I subtly denied an aspect of my truth, ignored an aspect of my truth, held back where I needed to speak up, or place a boundary where I needed to place a boundary, or have the conversation, or let myself be heard? October is not the month to let people walk all over you. Let me just say that. October is not the month. If we get afraid of rocking the boat, then we hold back. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Your truth is needed. It's a powerful force in harmonizing and balancing. It's a powerful force in activating more love. When you speak your truth from a place of grounded, guided, peaceful love, you bring about more love for others. You bring about an expansion of love, an expansion of peace, an expansion of well-being. You bring that about. So let yourself express. Holding back your expression actually creates this weight on your life force energy. And it starts to create this like heaviness and this dullness and this restrictedness, which it dulls your magnet. It dulls your ability to be a co-creator. It dulls your ability to activate what you want to activate. Okay. So let yourself express. There is going to be some karmic adjustments happening in the month of October. The things where, as I was just saying, like that pressure of holding back, the pressure is going to start to build. And there is going to be some kind of gate opening that is going to like a release valve that's going to allow that pressure to release, to unfold. Something is going to have to give at some point. And so that is going to happen in the areas in your life where you're noticing that like subtle, heavy pressure vibe. And how you can create some ease around that is through number one, self love and self care. Number two, going within and trusting your inner guidance system. I wrote a post a few days back, or maybe a week ago, I can't remember exactly when, where I shared the path to ease, the decisions that I had to make to create ease in my life were some of the most difficult decisions I've ever made. Some of us have the feeling like the sixth energy is just like really soft and beautiful and light. And yes, it has traits of that. But also, the six is going to radically defend love. And sometimes radically defending love creates a little bit of chaos, creates a little bit of rebellious nature, creates a little bit of pushing the edges, can rock the boat. And that's okay. Like, let yourself make those hard decisions to choose, honor, and align with yourself and with love. Let yourself make the hard decisions. Let yourself stand up for what you need, right? This is so important in this energy. We start off the month in a 7 energy month, or a 7 energy day, which is today, right? We're in a 7 energy day today. This is saying that the pathway to ease is going to be guided through our intuition. So what are your intuitive practices and how do you take time for them, especially today? But I would also add for the entire month. This is the tone that's being set. And as I mentioned earlier, when you're walking through an unknown situation, you have your eyes closed, you can't see, you're in the dark. The only thing you have to trust and go on is your guidance. You can receive advice from other people, absolutely, but you need to filter it against your own guidance system to see, is this in line with my values? Is this in line with my priorities? Does this make sense for who I am? On Wednesday, the 6th of October, we are really going to be faced with a beautiful opportunity to do some transmutation work, where we are going to be noticing where there's an opportunity to shift lack energy and transmute it into an energy of abundance. So if you're the journaling type and you're following along, you might want to mark on Wednesday, October 6th, that if there's lack that shows up, if you feel like a limit is showing up, like there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough of me to go around, I don't have enough capacity, I don't have it. I want you to remember what I'm saying right now. This is an opportunity to transmute the illusion of lack into abundance. There is enough time. There is enough capacity. There is plenty of opportunities to go around for what's aligned. Okay? So it's going to point out the lack in order for you to see what's not aligned and to release it. Okay? So that's what I want to share with you around October 6th. The next important day I want to share is going to be October 12th, which coincidentally is the start of the next practical numerology certification training. We start on October 12th. We have an incredible group of numerologists joining us this round. I am so pumped about it. We're going to have an amazing time. And this week's energy for everyone is going to be very much aligned with, how do I detox and release that which is not my truth? It's not mine. Why am I carrying it? Why am I wearing it? Why am I holding it? So the 12th is time to let go, release, and detox things that aren't yours to carry. So many people, especially if you're deeply sensitive or if you're empathic or if you're highly intuitive, you're carrying a lot right now. Like I just want to share to see you. Like I see you. I feel you. I feel it. You are carrying a lot right now. You have a lot on your shoulders, on your back, on your heart. And some of it is not yours to carry. So around the 12th of October, you are going to notice where it is time to shed and release, like the snake peeling off its layer of dead skin, so that you can move forward in the creation of what's to come. You don't need to carry that anymore because there is a rebirthing, an opportunity that's going to take what's truly in your heart and allow it to expand. Don't get overly identified with the dead skin that's falling off. Instead, identify with this new, fresh beginning that wants to evolve from you, from a place of really like, what are you growing? What are you leading? What are you a part of? What do you choose to engage with? This is really what the energy wants to be starting on the 12th of October. Don't overly identify with the dead skin. Write that in your agenda. Pick the new skin. Pick the new. Pick the new that's emerging. You know, I started off this call sharing a little bit about some of the heaviness you might have been feeling and the weightiness of what you've been feeling. And, you know, it is around the 12th of that month that that heaviness, that weightiness, that arrow pulling back vibe wants to be shed and released with this dead skin analogy. The 20th of the month is an 8 energy month. It's Wednesday the 20th. Again, this is where this idea of the bandwidth of my energy is going to come in. We do this thing where we subtly shame ourselves for having feelings. Can anyone relate? Like if I feel ungrateful, if I feel tired, if I feel sad or regretful, you know, we often think, I shouldn't feel that way. That's a negative emotion. Or I'm really lucky and blessed to actually have a lot of opportunities. So who am I to feel burdened? Or, you know, like I have it so much better than other people, so I shouldn't feel bad. Or, you know, like it's really not that bad. Like, why can't I just suck it up and make the most of it? Any of those comments that you ever say to yourself, you are subtly shaming yourself for feeling a feeling. Your feelings aren't wrong. Your feelings are not wrong. They are not bad emotions. You're not going to manifest more of the bad by feeling your feelings. I really want to stress this. You are not going to manifest more of the bad by feeling all of your feelings. What you don't want to do is get stuck in them or overly identified with them. But you do want to allow and feel them. Let yourself be angry. Let yourself be sad. Let yourself grieve. These feelings are actually important, rich pieces of information. And if you don't let yourself go there, you're actually limiting what's possible for you. Let yourself feel them. Don't numb from them. Don't distract from them. This subtle shaming that we do, or like, I shouldn't feel that way because I should be grateful. When we do that, we are actually, again, pressing down and dulling and dampening our life force energy. Let yourself feel it. And then here's the key. Understand the polarity of the energy so that you can feel that weightiness, the heaviness, the sadness, the grief, the rage, the anger, whatever it is. Feel it. Then let yourself do the magical, alchemical transmutation process. Because your ability to sit with yourself through the grief, the sadness, the rage, the anger is directly related to your ability to manifest the joy, the bliss, the abundance, the love, the connection, all the things that you desire. If you can't trust yourself to hold the heavy, it's going to be directly related to how much you trust yourself to hold the opportunity. Can you feel that? Can you guys feel where I'm coming from with this? You may need safe spaces to do that. You might need someone who can hold you in that. You might need a bestie, you might need a coach or a therapist or a healer or an energy worker to help you create that safe space to feel the feels. We are not creatures who regulate in isolation. We are creatures who thrive in community and co-regulation. Find communities that will hold you. Find communities that will allow space for the challenge, as well as knowing that just as much as the challenge might be very real in this moment, the opportunity is also very real and can hold space for you to have both. I think sometimes there's this like limit experience that we have where we think, well, if I admit that I'm afraid or I'm mad or I'm scared or I'm sad, that means I'm going to block myself from feeling that I'm also abundant and I'm also I have opportunities and I'm also full of potential. It's not true. You can be both. We are not simple creatures. We are very complex and multi-dynamic. You can have both. All of it. You can have all of it. So let yourself be surrounded by people who see that you can, right? This is one of the things I absolutely adore about our numerology community is we hold space for the challenge as well as your potential. So if this is an environment that you want to experience more of, this unconditional acceptance, message me, let me know. I would love to welcome you in to learn these tools for yourself, to experience them in community and relationship and co-regulation, and then also to share them with the people in your world who you want to share them with. So the 20th, let yourself feel in order to transmute. Let yourself feel in order to transmute. Don't live in a narrow bandwidth. Let yourself experience the full spectrum, right? Let yourself go deep in all aspects. The last couple of energies I want to point out, the 28th of the month, again, we have this energy of how do we know who we are, where we are? How do we find reference in the unknown? How do we find reference in the unknown? What is the anchor? What is the touch point? What is the groundedness in the unknown? Like if you're floating in the dark, what grounds you and anchors you? There's one thing every single time, and that's your inner guidance system. Your inner guidance system is always going to point you forward and show you where to go. So give yourself plenty of self-care so you can see it, feel it, experience it, and give yourself space to listen. Have a journaling practice or a meditation practice or go for walks in nature, baths, yoga, whatever it is where you can hear yourself think and you're not flooding your ears with outside messages, that you can actually take time to hear the inside messages. Okay. So around the 28th of the month, that's really important. And then on the 31st of the month, we wrap up with this beautiful energy of new beginnings. So all of this to say, you're going through a transmutation process right now. You are going through a death and a rebirth cycle. You are going through potentially a dark night of the soul. A lot of people are right now. You are the caterpillar stuck in the muck of the cocoon, and you can't see up or down, and it's painful. And we are moving. In the darkness, we trust that the light is coming, and we hold space for that. And we can feel both the ickiness of the darkness and the light that's calling us forward. So this month of October, I would love to know, number one, share in the comments, was this helpful? Is this going to give you something to lean into as you move through these challenging times? Can you see how there's an action or a takeaway for you that might help you move through what you're moving through? That might help you access more of what you truly desire? Because remember, these cycles are here to guide you towards a level of fulfillment and well-being, an expanded level of fulfillment and well-being. So keep remembering that and keep looking into the energy as it's pulling you forward. And if you want to know deeply and intimately how this works, message me. I'll share with you the details of what we've got coming up in the practical numerology certification. I teach you how to do precisely this for yourself, for other people. Because in times of change, we need to know what our anchors are. And your most important anchor is your inner guidance system. Okay, thank you for being here. I want to know in the comments, what's your number one takeaway? How are you going to apply this to support you with what you've got going on in the month of October? If you want to hop on a quick call with me, either comment, let me know, I want to chat, or DM me, and I'll send you a link to book into my calendar. And yeah, I'm just so grateful. I know there's a bunch of you already in joining me in this next round of practical numerology, and I'm so grateful you are, because the world needs people right now who are willing to experience and be present with both some of the challenge as well as holding space for the opportunity that's being transmuted right now. So I'm grateful you're doing that with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can't wait to see you in the comments.